I've always wanted to do a show with drag artists who have different styles, backgrounds, and views. A show where they can tell their story their way. And in a perfect world, I join in on the conversation. This is that show. We call it Exposed. Hi everyone, my name is Joseph Shepard and welcome to Exposed. It is a new season and we are chatting it up with some of the most famous drag queens all over the world. And today we have the absolute privilege and pleasure of chatting with the Cuckoo herself. It is Miss Cynthia Lee Fontaine.
Hey, how are you?
So good. We've been trying to do this for 900 years.
Oof, baby. Prehistoric time. I know. But we made it today. We made it happen.
We made it happen. You've been having a lot go on recently. You had your hip replacement surgery.
Yes.
How are you feeling? Are you feeling new?
I'm doing amazing. No pain. Walking around, exercising, exercising this too as well, the mouth. But I'm doing incredible. I think it was the right choice because it was almost like a year and a half that I was in pain constantly. And I was working at the same time. The month before of the first hip replacement surgery on November, I was in a 10-city tour in the UK. And it was brutal. You know what I'm saying? I did it with one of my best friends, Anna, and she helped me a lot. She don't let me do anything, not even put my pantyhose,
Yeah.
And that was a huge support beside the support that I have from my boyfriend, Armando. So, but after that, the recovery being just so successful, no pain. I've been doing fantastic, to be very honest with you.
That's so good. And I'm glad that you're feeling it. You're feeling a lot better. I know that you have had a pretty, health-wise, it's been a difficult few years.
Yes. In 2021, I have 3 lower back surgery. And it was the ice cold storm in Austin, Texas. I get an infection, so I have to have another surgery. It's been a while. That recovery was almost a year or two.
Wow.
Because I have an hernia, lumbar 5, S1. I mean, after 40. All these auto parts that are coming from, from the merchandise anymore. But I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic. I start working back again in March.
Ooh.
I visit my doctor, and I visit the doctor, the orthopedic surgeon that did the surgeries. And he told me, you want to come back to your high heels and your realness and your gorgeousness. You are allowed to do it. You have green light. And since then, I've been working in a lot of work that I didn't expect before, because I was almost 5-6 months on recovery.
Wow.
Us as an entertainers, as a drag queen, just come back to work and come back to track. You know what I'm saying? It's a process. But with me, floating emails and, and possible gigs and engagements and appearances, it was amazing.
I was watching, when I was researching you, they had a best of Cynthia Lee Fontaine on YouTube. You probably know it. And I did not know how many times you said the word cuckoo. I literally was 1, 2, 3, 4.
Also, you too start making inventory. Oh my God. You are a dedicated fan, hon.
Dedicated fan. You had your phrase. You had one of the phrases before, a Vanjie phrase. You had the OG, my cuckoo. You had the OG phrase.
Well, listen, I learned this from Changela. Hallelujah. I learned this too from Alisa Edwards.
Yes.
Well, I'm still working on that, but I think it's about make the TV show more fun and presentable ourselves, especially in my case, my branding, my personality, and it's part of my daily living, So, but yeah, I think maybe I'm the queen of the phrases, maybe.
Yeah, I think that you are.
Especially from that word, it's copyrighted already. It's registered, so we're good.
So I want to get into your life. Let's start. You were born and raised in Puerto Rico, right?
Yes, correct.
What was it like when you were a child? What were you like?
Well, I'm an 80s baby. I was born in 1981. So a beautiful era, just to being like a kid and enjoy my childhood and having the opportunity to know a little bit more when I was growing up. So it was a very happy childhood, with my mom, even if I came from a divorce, family, I always, always, always had the opportunity to interact with both of them. And I live with my mom. Of course, and then my dad, the weekends, we go to the movies or to the beach or outdoors, so it was a very exciting and it was a very happy, childhood. And I grew, between two families that they are very spiritual and religious too as well. From my dad's side, they are Catholic. From my mom's side, they are Adventist.
Okay.
So always, spiritualism and religion is always was present over there. And especially for my grandma, from my father's side, that she passed away a couple of years ago, I learned how to pray. I learned how to be grateful every morning. She teach me how to say, affirmations in front of the mirror. And she always tell me, like, you are a good boy. Always tell that to yourself, because you are. And don't forget to say that every morning in order that you can continue the rest of the day, happy as possible, even on the obstacles that you can maybe face, because not every day is going to be a happy day.
Yeah.
But always do that affirmation and ensure that you are confident with your own self and you're happy. So all that environment, my mom is a hard worker. She is and still the military of the family. She said, hey, you did this, you did that, everything is okay. And then from my dad, it was the fun, the adventures, going outdoors, So I have a good balance, So I think my childhood was extraordinary good and very happy. And I think that determined the personality and character that is talking to you today.
Yes.
And people get the opportunity to see on the TV show for 2 years. And I'm glad that people get to see that.
Yeah. I love too that you said that your grandmother kind of like taught you like confidence.
Yes.
That, because you surely had confidence in both season 8 and season 9.
Thank you.
And I think that is also a big thing about why you were so successful, is having a confidence in yourself, but making it fun. You're not arrogant about it. You're not anything like that. You just exude confidence. You exude the funness of everything.
Oh, yeah.
And you bring this, I would say you bring a very good happiness to drag. Like, I love every single time that I see you on my screen, like watching Bench Queens and like also like learning like the little Spanish words from you, and then yeah. But I'm so glad seeing your trajectory. I'm so glad seeing, how you have gone from season 8 to now. So you were mentioning your family, mentioning religion, and mentioning spirituality. Did you have any difficulty when you came out?
Well, let me tell you, I never came out to my parents, not even to my family members.
Wow.
Never. I remember the first time I dressed in drag. It was December 17, 2006. By that time, my mom, not even my dad, didn't know that I was a drag queen or I was part of the gay community or the queer community. And it was one day, my mom visited a year at like anniversary, me doing drag. She visited us in Maya, West Puerto Rico. I used to live with my youngest sister, Veronica. She was my confidant and she knew about everything. But she said, like, it's your responsibility to tell mom and dad. I will not gonna jump into that, wagon, and no, it's yours, and I respect that. But I want you to do it sooner. But I never had that courage to do it. So one day my mom visited because it was my sister's graduation from college. She was graduating a BA in business administration. And I told her, like, I'm leaving for the weekend because I have a gig as a dancer with a group dance. That was the excuse, aka the lies en español mentiras. Don't lie. Thank you. Or hide that information. You don't need to hide that, And then like, I left my suitcase when I came back. I used to work in a hospital, and then it was next to my bed because my mom wasn't staying in my room. So I leave it easy for her, And then like when I came back, the suitcase was open. It had a picture of me in drag, and it had the prosthetic, breasts that I used to wear back in the days. And she said like, so I have to find out 2 things in once, that you're a drag queen, but also you're gay. And eventually, it's been a process, It's been a forgiven process. It's been a process of healing. But one of the conversations that we have, actually, when I was on season 8, she told me, like, I was not mad at you because you were gay. I was mad at you and I was upset at you because I thought I was your best friend. And you hide this information from me. That means that where was our friendship? Because she was like, I'm your mom, but I always encourage you to be my friend. So that was the only thing. So, of course, I asked her for forgiveness and everything. And now she's a pro mom. Everywhere that she goes, I'm Mother Cuckoo. I'm not Maria Mercedes, I'm Mother Cuckoo, So, one thing brings another one, like a chain. And I'm very proud to say that today, like, she's, accepting and she respects what I do. And she knows that everything that I do is with a purpose, like a positive, beneficial purpose, not just only for me, but for a community that I'm part of.
Yeah.
So that made me very happy.
I love, it seems like your mom and my mom have a very similar way of how they went about us coming out. So when you said that, I was like, I never thought about my mom being my best friend and me not telling her something. And that was a big thing. My mom was my best friend. I would chat with my mom all the time. And then I didn't come out to her, but she took it so negatively because of the fact that I didn't say anything to her. I wasn't open with her.
So you have a very similar testimony and experience.
Yeah.
Because we talk about everything. Yeah. Like, Mom, this happened to me at college. Mom, like that, it was like, but then myself, I secluded myself and isolated because certain way for us, in my case, in my personal case, I knew their point of view, their values. So I respect that. So I was like, I was not feeling part of that dynamic because I was looking myself for my niche and also to understand my identity, sexual orientation, gender predisposition too. And I was afraid for the rejection. And that happens to a lot of us, you know what I'm saying? But after everything was out, it was a little bit difficult, the first like 5-6 years after, the information was out. But then up now, I mean, even like she texts me, like, I like that dress, mijo. That other dress, you're showing too much, El Cuckoo. Take care. So she's like, get involved a lot with what Cynthia Lee Fontaine represents, as a character, as an entertainer too. And even she went to my drag shows.
That's awesome. Yeah. And it's awesome that she saw you on season 8. And like you said, she kind of understood finally like what your career is.
Yes.
And she got to see through you what she's taught you and everything. And I think that is a very important thing for us as a queer community, because sometimes we may not be accepted by our family or our parents, but it is seeing that excitement from your children, seeing what they love to do and being able to be like, you know what? I helped with that and now I can understand them.
Oh, yes.
Well, you ended up moving to Texas in 2008?
Yes, correct.
So what was the inspiration behind the move?
Well, the inspiration was my mom and my stepfather moved from Puerto Rico to Texas 4 years before me.
Okay.
And I'm like, that was the first motivation. But one of my biggest inspiration, I am till today, rest in peace, huge fan of Erica Andrews and the Texas drag. Very competitive, beautiful drag from head to toe, polished, a lot of pageantry that are recognized still today, great systems like USFA or Continental. And I'm like, I just want to continue my drag career in Texas and in US.
Yeah.
Because there was like a moment that it was, blossoming, because in TV I was seeing not so many queer representation, but I saw RuPaul singing. It was the year that he was touring and he was telling everybody, there's going to be a TV show. And she came to one of the bars back in the days in Austin. I went to that show. It was Kiss and Fly, today's Highland Club. And I saw her performing and everything. And then she announced there's something for TV, a huge TV show. It's about queerness. And then she said charisma. And then I'm like, oh, wow, this is great. Especially in my case, that I was working in Puerto Rico in television. I was working on Univision, Puerto Rico, Telemundo. I was working on a reality TV show that it was a singing contest, Objetivo Fama, Objective Fame, you want to translate it. But never I can feed into the stereotype or prototype that what they were looking because of toxic masculinity and patriarchy. Even I went to a lot of auditions, me singing, and they said like, you have a great voice, but the interpretation and your body language, it doesn't exude what we're looking on them. Like, we want the macho Latino. You know, I'm like, oh, so you want me to grab that's not me. Until I found drag. And drag opened the doors of the opportunity for me to incorporate my talent as a singer, as a dancer, into this beautiful character that you see today after 17 years in drag. And I'm very excited. And then when I moved to Texas, I see these gorgeous, beautiful individuals. I met Erica Andrews, Kelly Klein from Austin, Texas, Jenny McCall, rest in peace, Tommy Ross. Aisha, I get to see Aisha O'Hara, performing, Alisa Edwards, all these great, amazing, big family of entertainers from Texas. And I'm like, okay, I need to continue. I need more, I mean, I'm glad I made that move. I think it was the right time. The universe was telling me, this is your moment. You have to move. And I'm always that way. I'm a person that takes risk. Always not being afraid of anything. Let's jump the waterfalls.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So you end up on season 8 of RuPaul's Drag Race. Had you auditioned before?
Oh, yes, for season 6. And I'm glad I did not get cast. Because that season was very competitive.
That was a very competitive season.
It was competitive.
Bianca, Dor, Courtney, Darian
Clemente,
Lake. Yeah.
I mean, you name it. April.
Yes.
And today, all of them are successful in their own way, are very popular. It's just incredible. So I'm like, and I remember this. I'm going to tell you this tea to you. I think I don't tell before in other interviews because I like you. I love you. But I remember I sent my audition tape for season 6 and I get an email. And it was one of the producers of the show. And they said thank you for submitting your video. Your video is very professional, but it's like watching at 3 a.m. in the morning, vacuum cleaner sailing commercial. AKA was boring. And it said on the email, we would like to see that energy and that personality that you show at the Super Sundays Diva show every Sunday. I was like, they're stalkers. Oh my gosh, should I call the police 911? They are looking to me, you know what I'm saying? They were watching me. So I wait a year. I was taking sewing classes with 2 of my drag moms, Pedro Davila, that he designed national costumes for Miss Universe Puerto Rico, and Carolina Naranjo, that she's from the West of the Island, House of Lee. And I'm like, no, I just want to perfect, little bit my sewing skills. And then I auditioned for season 8. And 48 hours after I submit my audition tape, they call me and they said, if you allow us, you entering the eligibility process to become part of the cast of season 8 of Drag Race. And that video, if you watch that video, was so stupid. I went crazy with personality. I went crazy, saying everything, going more fresh, more confident in front of the camera rather than, the other video that it was, watching Trinity Broadcasting Network, sermon, hallelujah, praise the Lord, so correct. And that's what they love, and even I remember on season 8, behind cameras, RuPaul was remembering details of my audition tape.
Wow.
It was I love when you start whistling because on the video I start whistling and she liked that, So because she remembers, if you give that wow factor on your audition tape and you get cast, it's for a reason. So I was very happy about that, but it was a learning process, but I'm glad I get cast for season 8 because all my sisters, wow, what a talented season. One of the seasons that started getting Emmys nomination.
Yes.
One of the first ones. So I'm blessed. I'm happy. I'm honored to be part of that legacy.
I'm glad that you're part of the legacy. I think that you came on season 8 and you showcased what we all love about you. And I want to know from you, what was your favorite experience during season 8?
Well, I'm going to tell you, it was the first episode filming, the first day we were at the workroom. We were all the drag after the workroom entrance, and they line us off, all of us, in line for the hello, hello, hello.
Uh-huh.
In that moment, when RuPaul opened the door and she said like, hello, 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 I start crying. Because I remember I see her years ago when she was doing and announcing there's coming a pilot, a new TV show. And then I was on season 8. And then she was like, literally like feet away from me. And I was just crying. She said like, let's stop the cameras for a moment. Hey kiddo, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm just happy to see you. You're one of my icons. You're a legend for me. You're a huge inspiration. As a singer, as a drag queen, so I'm very, overwhelmed by emotions right now. And she said like, oh kiddo, come over here, let me give you a hug. And, goosebumps, even if I shave. Because that moment for me, that's what was another win for me, because I have at the moment like that love. And at the same time, that validation from, an icon that inspired me to do what I love the most today, So that was my favorite memory.
And he could have easily not done anything, He could have been like, "Oh, make her stop crying."
Oh yeah,
But that's great that he,
Yes.
used it as an opportunity,
Yes.
and it created a big memory for you.
And even for season 9, before the surprise, all the production that we were creating, that she led me like, hey, do you have any ideas how you want to do the surprise? And I'm like, well, you're going to do the extravaganza, charisma, you need even a pageant. I can come like as a surprise. Like, hold on, you can like, crash the party for a moment. She was, oh, I like that idea. And then like, we spoke with the other producers and they said like, we like this. Okay. And she told me like, I'm glad that you're back. I'm glad that you're healthy. And to have you back here, and I'm like, thank you so much. Thank you for having me back. And even like she escorted me, grab my hand and this is what we're going to do. Be careful. I don't want you to fall. I'm like, thank you so much. Very educated, very nice, and I never forget those moments. And those are, for other, for other people can be like small details, but for me, that's huge because you get to see that, RuPaul and the entire production have that passion, like really love this artistry, and this artistry bring a lot of glory, not just only for them, but for us as entertainers that became part of the TV show and still part of the TV show. Because every place that I go, there's still people talking to me. I rewatched season 8. I rewatched season 9. Or I watched for the first time season 8 and 9. Oh my God, you made me cry. I'm glad that you're okay. And I'm like, this is incredible. The impact that this TV show, create around the world.
When you went back into season 9, how did you figure out that they wanted you back?
Well, I was performing in Dallas on a fundraiser, and I was performing with Alisa Edwards. And they called me a week before. And they say like, hey, how are you? How is your health? And I'm like, I'm doing great. On my remission. Coming back, to work and all the shenanigans. And they say like, oh, okay. Is that okay? Like, you're going to have your psychological evaluation again. I'm like, and I thought at that moment that I'm going to be doing a cameo. For the new season. So I'm like, oh yeah, sure. And what day you want me to fly? Like, you want me to fly like next week? No. But and they asked me for a third time, are you willing to travel? Are you willing to, film with us? But on me, in my head, I was not thinking about returning queen. I was thinking they want me to do a cameo. And I was thinking the same cameo that did, Shangela once. Like, hallelujah, I'm back. And she was like, come back inside to the box, So I'm thinking, there's something like that, something fun, And then I did all the process, and I'm like, but they were emailing me more, and you need to do this, and you sign this waiver. I'm like, well, hold on a second. This is like the same process that I did for season 8, to be eligible as a contestant in part of the cast. And then a week after, everything, they have all the paperwork and everything. One of the producers called me. I was finishing that show. I remember it was like 2:15 p.m. And they said like, do you want to come back to be a contestant, a returning queen for season 9 of Drag Race? I'm like, I started laughing hysterically. I was like, I thought that you want to come, you. What? This is crazy. You know what? I say yes. In the same period of amount of time back in the days I used to have for prepare, that it was 2 weeks and a half. They said like, well, I start preparing, you know? And I'm like, I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm coming back to Master Chef. I need help. You're welcome. I'm going to do chalupas for my life.
Chalupas for your life.
And let me tell you, that was the lie. People were like, where are you? And me to be, feisty and spicy, I was like, I'm going to Master Chef. Doing what? Chalupas for my life. And let me tell you, some people that was close to me, they believe it. Some were like, girl,
we know.
You're hiding, but we know. Oh, but that was the process. And my laugh, it was like laughing because I'm like, life is giving me more opportunities after me facing liver cancer stage 1, me remission, and boom. And it's the same feeling that I have this year when I was recovered from my hip surgery too. All the opportunities and all the projects and all the traveling back again and all the love. I was like, wow, you know. But yeah, that was the experience.
You end up on, like I said, you ended up on season 8 and season 9. And I have all the girls that come through talk about exposing something that happened behind the scenes that you wish would have made it to camera. Is there anything that happened that you really wish that the world could have seen?
I don't know if you remember, they did just only on season 8, the Shade Tree.
Oh, the Shade Tree.
Yeah. I know the only footage that they show, I think, was Chishi.
Yes.
I was on that Shade Tree too. But since I was so nice, I think that's why it doesn't make it to the episodes or to the season. Because I was not shading nobody. I'm like, I don't want to shade anybody, but I just want to say that I miss my family. But I'm here competing and showing this to the whole entire universe, you know. That was the only thing that I wish it was shown on the season of the TV show, you know.
Because they put that in there and then they took it out. It seemed like it was like one and done.
Yes. And even like, well, my other sisters were like, I'm not going to sit on no damn tree to do shade, whatever. I can tell you the shade in front. You know, we have Bob the Drag Queen, Torgy, Acid Betty, Although New York. They like face to face, like tell the truth. You know what I'm saying? So I think it doesn't work for our season because we were real. Yeah. 101, all of us. So, but yeah, that was the only thing, the Shade Tree. Do you think like maybe if they bring that back, the girls, new generations might probably use them, the Shade Tree?
I don't think so. Because the way I look at it, I feel like everybody's becoming too nice now. And what I mean by that is that I think everybody is very on their toes about what they say, what they don't say, because the fandom, as you know, they can come at you for anything. So I feel like the past few seasons have been very tame. So I don't think that they would. But if they cast some girls that are not afraid to speak their mind, I think it'd be great.
Yes, yes. You know what? Talking about the fandom, I don't like to generalize because I feel it's a sector or a group that doesn't represent the rest of the real fanatics that really, truly support all of us. You know, and it happens to you too as well, since you are one of the, you know, persons that, you know, interviews, you know, in a correct, in a nice way, respectful way. I feel that there's a group, just only a small group, you know, and I feel patronizing whatever any girl said publicly on social media and then criticizing them or crucify them is unnecessary, you know. I know we have now the cancel culture. I know there's a new movement even to correct the narrative of the language, what we're saying, you know, on our lexic, in our idiom, and not just only in the American community, in the Latino community too as well, you know, getting the masculinity out of words and pronouns. And a lot of us came from old school. So it's a little bit like a slow learning experience. But then the small group goes and attack the girls like, oh, you say this.
Yes.
You are phobia, all the phobias, you know? And I'm like, I always like, my message is like, hey, you know what? Just calm down. It's a learning experience. I don't like to justify for nobody, but I try to see the situation in a whole picture. And I'm like, this is a learning experience for a lot of people, you know? Even I was talking with family members and it's like, I work for customer service or I work at school. I have to learn pronouns. I have to learn like, what do you like to be called? Like how you feel comfortable with. But I came from the old school, so it's hard for me. And sometimes I make the mistake and I feel that I'm judged or, you know, point at it. And I'm like, that's my message to everybody, you know, just nice and relax. See the good, you know, in people and stop like, you know, attacking and judging, you know, because at the end of the day, like we're human beings. We're not perfect and we're trying.
Yeah. And you said too, right there, you said that, you came from a different age. And I think that that's very important because I never thought about this. I produced Jinx's podcast, and the other day Jinx was talking.
Good. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. She was talking about how back in the 90s, like the late 90s, when people started accepting, you know, queer people more and started accepting LGBTQIA plus individuals, television shows and stuff would use, you know, the T slur or words because they were trying to be innovative. They were trying to show that, oh, you know, we're inclusive, we're this and that. But if you look back on it now, we're going to say, oh, that was inappropriate. Yeah. So there are moments where people think they're in the right in that time frame.
Yes.
And then years down the road, 20 years down the road, it's totally different.
Yes.
So it is giving people a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. It's not just automatically attacking them because you think that you have more information or that what you think or saying is better. It all just comes down to the person's probably a good person. They may have made a mistake that they didn't even know was a mistake. Let's talk about it. Let's have a discussion and a learning experience.
Instead of like attacking the individual, let's open up to the conversation so it's a learning experience for everybody at the same time. And back in the days in the 90s, we had the ACT-UP, you know, all the protests because it was, you know, advocating for HIV, you know, individuals and they were dying and they were not having the right like medications, you know, biopharmaceuticals were not being honest, you know, not even with the government. And they were like charging this ridiculous amount for money for medications were not working with the immune system, you know, stopping the virus on the system or CD4 cells on your immune system. So it was a lot that were happening. And on that period of time, it was a rebellious way to respond with some terminology that were slurred, but it was a revolutionary protest. Like, no, this is what we are, like, beep, or the F, or the T, you know what I'm saying? And you have to accept me because, again, it was a fight for rights.
Yes.
So I hope, like, you know, again, it's not judging the book by its cover, but by its content.
That needs to be a quote. I love that
In Spanish, no juzgues al libro por su portada, juzga el libro por su contenido. You know?
I love that. That's a very good way of putting that. And you're talking about activism. You have been very active in the activism community. You're not afraid to speak your mind. I saw you multiple interviews for the bills that they were trying to pass in Tennessee and in Texas, the SB 12 and the SB 1449. What pushed you to speak out? Like, what do you think it was? Because some of your sisters spoke out and some really didn't speak out. But what was it for you that made you want to like go on national TV and say things?
When I started doing drag, I think the biggest inspiration, my mom on the 70s was on the women's rights movement. And I saw that and I'm like, she's fighting for her rights and she's fighting for what she believes is not correct. And she wants those rights as a woman, you know, as an individual part of the society. So I had that, inspiration and that example too. But when I started doing drag, through my drag family, Kaira Lee Naranjo, one of my drag moms, she was she's still a huge activist for the queer rights of the community. And I'm like, so no just only I can use this beautiful character for performance or, performing arts skills or talents, I can use this to raise my voice and to advocate for others that they don't have that platform, that voice. So that was fascinating for me. And that's how I started advocating. I was working in Puerto Rico in some organizations. I studied a bachelor degree in clinical psychology. So I use that, to interact and build trust of communication between me and transgender women were working on the streets, as a sexual workers too, providing, safe sex information, education, condoms, and more. And since then, I feel like for me, it's not just only a responsibility, it's an obligation, because now that I have this huge platform, this is the opportunity for me to defend more our community. And those who are so afraid, especially in the political times, social political times that we're living in this country, that we never expect coming back and walking backwards again. Yeah. So when I see injustice, I cannot keep quiet myself. And that's why.
I love it because and I keep seeing you pop up on my Instagram and Twitter and stuff, just speaking out. And I was very, very proud of you because I was learning information from what you were saying. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's a big thing. It comes down to listening to our community.
Yes.
And I want to give you the chance because you briefly touched earlier about your HIV status. Mm-hmm. And I believe that our community, there's a pretty 50-50 chance that you either know the information or you don't know the information.
Yes, still today, 2023.
Yes, and I think that there's a lot of misinformation that is out there. So I would love for you to say anything that you want about what it actually means to, be HIV positive, because I think that everybody just doesn't necessarily understand.
Listen, I'm going to put it like this, simple.
Yeah. It's
like cholesterol. You have to take a pill. It's like diabetes. You have to shoot, your insulin. It's the same. It's the same. As far I take my medication every day, I'm fine. And I have the virus under control, undetectable, zero, completely on my immune system. And then my CD4 cells that are my defense cells on my immune system are high and are great, And that's the best way to explain it, I think it's easy, still a stigma and discrimination today towards individuals who are HIV positive. And still the misinformation and lack of education about but if you're undetectable, can you still transmit the virus? I'm if you're healthy, you're going to be fine. But if you don't take care of yourself, that's another story. That's simple as that, So I encourage everybody to, do the test and know their status and be happy and be healthy.
And I think that that's the most important thing. And also, I know that I have friends that, are positive, and the big issue that they always have is dating and finding somebody that can actually understand what they're going through, and that it's not that big of a deal.
Oh, no, absolutely.
And I think that that's always the big thing that always gets me in the heart is that these people are great people.
Yeah.
And they're being viewed as something totally different just because of a status that was made to become a big evil back 20, 30 years ago.
Yes. Yes.
And it's totally different. It's all the stigma, like you said.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm content right now. I have a successful relationship with an amazing man, an amazing guy, and he's completely healthy, and myself too. We're taking care of each other, He physically is very active. He runs every morning. He wakes up every morning and he cooks at home. I cook, but he almost all the time he's a chef at home.
That's always the nice treatment.
Ooh. I mean, love comes to the doors of the kitchen. So. And see if you can see. This is not just only aesthetic procedures, transformation. This is nutritional transformation too. But, if I can be successful in a relationship and happy and accepted and loved, you can be too. Yeah. Don't feel afraid to speak up and be yourself. You don't have to pretend and put a fake picture with 75 filters from FaceTune. Be yourself. And one day you will have the opportunity like me to be blessed to have an amazing, healthy, and happy relationship, you know? So that's my biggest advice.
I love it. I would love to see you on We're Here, the HBO show.
Thank you.
Think that the knowledge and the activism and everything that you have would be so beneficial to people.
Thank you so much. I hope even I get to collaborate with the new cast. Congratulations to my 3 peers. I'm so proud of them. Congratulations to Bob, Eureka, and Shangela that they build up another platform on media for us. How insane it is that today we have this diversification of so many platforms for queer individuals, media, TV, movies, YouTube, you name it.
Yeah.
Because back in the days, we don't have that.
No.
We don't have that. We were not accepted at all. Again, it wasn't the regular standard norms, normality, gender norms, on characters, on TV. We need, hairy chest and mustache and let's go. I don't fit onto that, stereotype. And now there's plenty of opportunities for me and for so many peer entertainers in the entertainment business. This is amazing. So we have to celebrate that, So, for the 3 new girls, Sasha Velour, Priyanka, Jada Essence Hall, congratulations, girls. Thank you for giving that continuity, for that big platform for us to have the opportunity in the future to become part of that experience too as well.
Well, we're speaking into his existence.
Let's throw it to the universe. En español,
yes. Universo. Well, we are coming to the end of our beautiful interview, so I have a few more questions.
Yes.
What do you think the biggest misconception of Cynthia Lee Fontaine is?
That I'm naive. That I'm too nice, and it's a concept of a part of the character that I am, as I'm sparkling and happy and joyful. And the times that we're living today with so much negativity, some sector, not everybody, but a group, might believe that it's just only a fake act for me to be likable and being relevant and continue part of the entertainment business, which is not. Behind this makeup, there's Carlos Alfonso Diaz Hernandez, a happy and successful gay man, part of the queer community that enjoy to laugh every morning, that enjoy my boyfriend's jokes in the morning, and he wake me up. Even if lately, I don't know why, I've been like, I don't want to wake up right now. Give me 1 hour and things like that. You know what I'm saying? But and I like to walk my dogs in the park, and I like to go to the movies with my boyfriend, and I like to enjoy every single meal that he prepare at home, and I like to visit my family and friends, and always is looking for the positive on everything. Because there's always something positive on everything.
It's true.
Yes, again. Like I said, when I get eliminated on my 3rd episode on season 8 of Drag Race, do not give up. Even of the obstacles and inconveniences that you can face in your life, just try to make your dreams come through. Even if you are the only one who believes in yourself. And that's what I try to do on my everyday.
Yeah.
And connecting spiritual with God, with the universe, that helped me a lot to improve in so many things. And it's a learning experience to grow as an individual, behind this mask. So no. This crazy Cuckoo is in and out of the character, super cookie, crazy, and happy, and I'm not going to change for nobody in the planet. I'm going to continue sharing love, support, and laughs.
Yes. Well, you bring a lot of love, support, and laughs to your fellow Drag Race sisters when you do Binge Queens for Drag Race Mexico.
Yes.
What else do you have coming down the pipeline? Is there anything else that you're working on or that you're excited to, push or promote?
Well, right now I'm going to be more traveling. I'm going to be doing more gigs. In August, I'm going to be doing a huge project in Austin. It's going to be, a filming of different, series of shows, with a distillery. And, my liver is doing good. Doctor, if you're watching, I promise to you, I'm taking care of myself. And that is huge. It's going to be, in a couple of big networks, right now so far. And, more traveling and doing some adjustments too, because again, I never stopped working, but I never stopped dreaming, so looking challenge myself to be more on TV, have like that, presence and visibility on TV and movies, which I love since I was a kid, so there's more stuff to come. And of course, future music is coming.
Yes.
I'm excited. Right now I'm promoting our a recent single that is a collaboration with Michael St. Michaels. It's amazing composer, writer, producer, and from a ballroom community in Austin, Baby Boy, a great rapper, and so La de Mala Gente, and it's a song dedicated to the rap community and also to the transgender community too. And I'm very excited for the reception and the love and support that we all been receiving for this single. And it's the first time I'm singing cumbia, a genre that is like Mexican American and Mexican community too. And oh my God, the Latino community received it with so much love. And if you don't watch the video, just go to the YouTube channel, watch the video, and the song is available in every detailed application to Mira. Put it on your playlist.
Put it on the playlist. And last question for you is, what are words of wisdom that you have for our beautiful LGBTQIA plus community?
Do not get discouraged by everything that is happening right now politically. It's not the first time that we face this backlash. We have our pioneers. We have Marsha P. Johnson, Sylvia Rivera, also in Puerto Rico, Christina Hayward. And we have other icons and activists over there in Puerto Rico, Pedro Julio Serrano, even my drag family, Karen Naranjo, Luis Bosques. There's so many individuals, Ivana. There's so many individuals that back in the days they fought for what we have today. Even if we're facing this, step back, stay true to yourself in front of the line. We're going to win this battle. And I promise to you guys, and I guarantee you that I'm going to continue using my platform to advocate for our rights. So in the future, and I hope it's a sooner future, we get the opportunity to celebrate, to gather together and celebrate equality and acceptance the way that it should be. So don't give up. We love you. And I mean, it's not the first time at the rodeo for us to live this experience. We're going to get through this. And we're going to live our own truth with happiness and equality.
I love that. Well, Cynthia, where can everybody find you on the social medias?
Cynthia Lee Fontaine everywhere. And TikTok is Cynthia Lee Fontaine _.
Okay.
And on Twitter @Lee Fontaine. That's the only one, but the rest is Cynthia Lee Fontaine. Yes.
Well, go make sure you check Cynthia Lee Fontaine out. She's also on Binge Queens, and make sure to check that out. I love a good Binge Queens. And the great thing too about Drag Race Mexico is that if you don't understand some of the references, if it is in, Spanish, then you do not speak Spanish. You guys speak in English. So
yes,
you do get that benefit of being able to actually know more about the culture as well.
Yeah.
So I am Joseph Shepard. This has been Exposed. Thank you so much. This is the beautiful Cynthia Lee Fontaine.
Thank you.
Until next time, bye guys.